Hey guys, I've got a hatsan on the bench, and by the way, just finished this old shotgun. It's like 160 years old, and that's pretty cool, but that's not what we're talking about today. Take a look at this hatsan. This is a brand new hatsan Bull Boss in 22 that a customer brought into me. He bought it at a local sporting goods store, Kittery Trading Post out of southern Maine. He was told it was brand new, and so let's zoom out here a little bit. And he took it home to shoot it and had air in it, but it wouldn't fire. It was missing our fill probe for a quick disconnect adapter for the fill probe. Don't know if it's supposed to come with that. Asked Hatsan about it. They didn't give me a straight answer. Although the customer service was pretty good because I talked to them about some other stuff. But this is really solidifying that I don't like Hatsan as a company. So didn't come with a way to actually fill the gun because it's a proprietary fill probe, and it didn't come with the adapter to go to a quick disconnect. So also the gun just wouldn't cock. Like you run the cocking handle back as far as you can, won't click back. The gun won't cock, the trigger won't pull, the safety doesn't do anything. We're like, what's going on with this? So I took it home, tore it apart, and lo and behold, what do we find? Oh boy, now we've lost it. 1 second. What do we find sitting right here in the gun, where our trigger and our hammer, which is also our valve, I guess, kinda, but not really. I'm still learning how this gun works. We find a little shard of steel, blued, finished steel. And it's the same. There's similar thickness and gauge of basically just cold rolled sheet metal that they use on a lot of other parts on this gun. So I've been looking through this whole gun, and you can see where it was. Oh no, this isn't even where it was rubbing. You just have rubbing there. But I was looking through this gun for something else that was broken. Can't find anything where this would have broken off from. And so I'm just left to believe so far that this is literally just foreign material that got into this gun, potentially broke off of another gun, and then made its way into this gun, which is that's just sad. And honestly, I wouldn't even make a video of this. I've had a similar thing happen to me before with an old Hatsan Edge brake barrel that I got, and I wasn't worried about it then because it was a very cheap brake barrel. I think I paid like $75 for it, but I found a shard of metal, much smaller and thinner than this one, sitting in the main seal when I tore the brand new gun apart that I had bought directly from Hatsan. No middleman whatsoever, shipped straight to my door. So this is the second shard of metal that I've had in a Hatsan, brand new. And that's alarming because I've only worked on 3 Hatsans. So you do the math there. And I'm not saying don't buy a Hatsan because they do make some cool guns, but if you're competent enough to take it apart fully strip it down, find any foreign material in there that doesn't belong, and take it out, and then put the gun back together before you fire it, which you shouldn't have to do. And if you don't know how to do it, because look at this is all just from this one gun, all of these parts, it's not even fully taken apart yet. The trigger, the cocking arm, I mean, here's your trigger. This is all trigger, by the way. All of this and all of this is all trigger. It's all different parts. So if you're not capable of doing it, then like you need to bring it to a gunsmith. And most gunsmiths don't even work on PCP air rifles. So I'm going to let you do the math on that one, and you can make the call. Another reason I don't like Hatsan is their triggers. This is all plastic. Almost all of it. You have metal trigger shoe, metal connecting rod here, which goes through a plastic rotating toggle that's mounted right there to connect to another metal connecting bar, which then goes into an almost entirely plastic trigger housing to finally go into there to our sear. I get it's a bullpup, but bullpup triggers have been figured out, especially on air rifles, for like 5 years now. People have gotten them down pat. And I'm going to be honest, I don't even know how this trigger pull is, because we haven't been able to pull the trigger, because this brand new gun shipped to my customer, broken. I'm not a fan of that. Also, just stuff like, that's metal, but all of this is plastic. We have 90% of the screws are Phillips heads, which is really horrible. So if you don't have a really nice Phillips screwdriver, like this Snap-on that comes with the best Phillips bits I've ever used, or like JIS screwdrivers or something, you can take this gun apart like 3 or 4 times before the screws completely strip out, because they're number ones, most of them, and you do have a few number twos. And then also you have some randomly thrown in Allen head bits, but they're also a very small size of Allen. They are literally the smallest size bit that I have in my quick disposal. Let me see what these are. They're 2.5 millimeter Allen. That's tiny, and you saw the screw. It can take a way bigger Allen than that. Like 2 millimeter is still known for stripping out. Once you get up to like a 3 millimeter, or a 4 millimeter, sorry. Let me see what this is. Yeah, 4 millimeter. That's when you're pretty solid and you don't generally have Allen stripping out when you know what you're doing. But so all of these screws are very liable to strip out, and there's so many of them. There's 4 there. There's another 2 there. Another 2 there. Just on the cocking arm. Another, that's a pin, like it should be. You have screws holding the rail on. I mean, you have like probably over a dozen screws right there from what I've already taken apart. Also, the Quattro trigger, yeah, it's adjustable. It's shite. Oh, I've actually worked on 4 hatsans. Never mind, I'm sorry. I've worked on 4 hatsans. But so this Quattro trigger, one of the pins is, let me zoom in here. One of the pins is missing its little C-clip, or E-clip. So, yeah, it can literally just fall right out of the gun. Like, no tools required. And plastic trigger housing. I mean, there are like $80 brake barrels that have metal trigger housings. And if you're wondering, metal on metal has a lower coefficient of friction when it's polished well and when it's good quality and good surface texture. It has a lower coefficient of friction than metal on plastic, especially this like really cheap, chintzy, rough plastic. You can't do anything with that. You can't smooth that out. Whereas you can take a really cheap air rifle trigger that's all metal, smooth out everything inside it, and make it pretty decent. You can't do that with the Quattro trigger. That's never going to happen. Especially when you have plastic parts rotating on bolts, like metal bolts. Look at this foolishness. This is so stupid and unnecessary. So I'm really not super impressed with this gun. Especially, I think this was I've seen it going for $550. My customer told me he paid over $700 for it, which is kind of steep. Yeah, so like this kind of stuff shouldn't be happening, in my opinion, at all. Like all of this stuff should be ironed out. There should be 1/3 the screws on this gun. They should all either be slotted flathead or 3 or 4 millimeter Allen, or maybe Torx. This stock, I don't mind it. I don't mind this stock material at all. Hatsan does some of the cooler wood stocks. I will give them that. Some of them look horrible, but some of them look nice. But yeah, I'm just so far as a gunsmith working on a few Hatsans over the last few years, I personally cannot recommend that anybody buy these guns at any price point, from $50 all the way to whatever people are paying for this Bull Boss. And I think this is the same thing as the Gladius, pretty much, with a different moderator system and a slightly different stock. So that's my spiel. I hope you guys found some use in this, because I can't say anybody enjoys finding metal that shouldn't be inside of a gun. So have a good one.